Hey, peace, family. It's your man, Mark Black. First of all, I want to say thank you to everybody who's currently watching live. I don't really currently have the means to see how many it is, if anybody, but I just wanted to shout you out anyway. If you're here and you're watching live, go ahead and pop something in the chat. Before we get started, just a couple of things. I'm going to be broadcasting every day during the week for now, but on the weekends, most likely Saturdays only. Not that I really care about Sundays particularly, just I got to have one day off a week to just kind of do whatever, you know what I'm saying? So that's how that's going to go down. Another thing too is that, remember, this thing that I'm doing here is for us, by us, of us. I'm looking for people to collaborate with. Okay. So if you have a unique way you're doing blackness, maybe you're LGBTQ, maybe you were a transracial adoptee, right? You know, we got black people that were adopted into white families. We need to learn about their experiences. We've got black people who are in all sorts of different environments who care about blackness, but don't have a safe place to be able to express that or to share their issues or understandings of how they do blackness. And so this is the place for you. If you want to collaborate with me on my channel, there's on the About page, there is my email address there. That's blackoutcastmedia@gmail.com. Right? You can go ahead and reach out to me via email. You can leave a comment on the video. Maybe you might have been somebody who was interested in perhaps starting to broadcast yourself. Sorry about the camera there, family. Still working on the bugs. This is a work in progress. But maybe you're somebody who's been looking to maybe broadcast on your own, right? You've been wanting to maybe get involved in starting something yourself on YouTube. Well, don't reinvent the wheel. I'm looking for people that are willing to broadcast, especially if you're looking to broadcast, you know, on a pretty frequent basis. You got topics that you want to discuss. Definitely reach out to me. We can talk about setting it up to where, and I'll work with you to do it. No cost to you, by the way, but I'll work with you to help you set up your broadcast situation so that you're able to stream right here on this channel. So you don't even have to create a new channel, set up new channel art and all the stuff that I had to do, right? You could just jump right into your software and start streaming here. You feel me? So I'm also looking to interview people, right? There is entire subsects and areas of black people that we need to get to know, right? We're about creating unity and tying us together, okay? So if you're out there and you have a unique story that you want to tell the people, if you have a unique understanding of things that you want to share with the people, reach out to me. We can set up an interview either via Skype or some other method, right? Where we can actually get your message out there, get your face out there, get your story told, right? This is your home for you, all right? So, family, with that said, the broadcast today is titled Slavery by Another Name, Black Men on Demand. Now, I don't know how many of you are familiar with the recent incident where the sister who worked at the McDonald's was manhandled by a pale dude. And of course, I'm not going to lie, I was impressed with the amount of those hands that she introduced him to, right? And that circumstance, the situation behind that. I've heard tell that she has also been terminated, which is a whole nother set of fuckery and so on and so forth. But and I want to warn you in advance, family, after having done some introspection on this topic, I feel some kind of way. And my normal inclination when I feel strongly about something is to tamp it down. But in the interest of transparency and honesty, I can't do that. So if I say anything during this broadcast that you feel is offensive, that you feel is over the top, reach out to me on the back end of my channel and we'll address it offline. I'm going to be talking about something that I feel warrants more discussion than it gets. But the passion that I have for this topic can tend to outweigh my good judgment. I'm going to try to exercise as much self-control as I possibly can. But with that said, if it bleeds over into discussion or rhetoric or verbiage that you think is harsh or unkind or offensive, rather than try to have the video flagged or shut me down, get at me. I want to initiate a dialogue, a discussion. So with that said, let's go right into it. Now, I've watched the video, and so did a lot of you. It's pretty much gone viral, right? And what you saw was what I saw. This lousy, pale bastard mouthing off to this sister behind the counter at the McDonald's, and then reaches for her and grabs her, at which point she delivers a flurry of blows, you know, that Mayweather would be proud of, and subsequently was pulled away from the disengagement by either management or employees. So the pale man was also, you know, kind of pulled away from the disengagement, although he was able to get some words in afterwards and call her bitches and shit like that. All right. So that's what we saw. That's the facts. He accosted her in her place of employment, at which point she defended herself. And that's the circumstance. That's the scenario. So what's throwing me for a loop, what's upsetting me at this point, is this circumstance that I'm seeing across all social media, where it is being clearly noted that there were black males who were there in the environment, right? Who were there as fellow employees and so on and so forth. And there is an extreme amount of castigation that is going on of their maleness, of their masculinity, because they did not step up to defend the sister. And I got a fucking problem with that. I got a real problem with that. I know that it is strange for many of you to have to look at this the way that I'm going to express today. But I want you to take a step back, if you're able to, and understand what it is that you are actually saying, either implicitly or explicitly, when you say that these men, these males that were there, these black males that were there, had a duty to step up and defend this woman. And I want you to consider the idea that that conclusion is derived from, and how it has parallels to the functionality of black males since we've been here in Fortress America. During our enslavement, white folks had the ability to demand our labor, minds, and lives at will. That's what makes chattel slavery in America unique. See, in other places, not to say that slavery was not heinous. Any of you in the diaspora who are the descendants of slaves in your respective countries, your peoples went through a trauma just like ours did. But here in the United States, with chattel slavery, it was unique in how slavery was done all throughout the wilds of the West, because in other places, slaves could own property. Many of them had opportunities to be manumitted in ways that didn't exist for the descendants of for the slaves here in the United States, and so on. If you're interested in that and you want to know more about that, Google is your fucking friend. Here, any white person had a call on the bodies of black people, on the minds of black people, even their lives if need be. Now, there might have had to have been a little bit of give and take, a little back and forth with the slave master, right? You know, little nudge, nudge, wink, wink, a little remuneration and so on and so forth. But it was no fucking problem. So black lives in general were on demand, especially black male labor, because primarily it was black male labor on the plantations that drove the agricultural engine that became the economy of the South and thus the United States. But what I find is interesting is the parallels between that and how these days black women and black males both alike, but primarily black women, are acculturated that all black men are her men. And thus every black male is subject to being conscripted by her in any situation. You have to understand something, family. We don't know the dynamic between the sister and the brothers that were there. We don't know if she was dating one of them or if they was, work husbands, right? You know, how you have that work wife at work who y'all eat lunch together and so on and so forth, so on and so forth, right? We don't know the dynamic between them. We don't know if one of them might have been her brother or not, right? We don't know if one of them was a relative of hers or not, right? So we don't know the dynamic, the ties, the connection other than blackness between those individuals who were there at that place of employment. We don't know. And yet, isn't it strange how that doesn't seem to matter when it's a black woman who's under threat? If the tables had been turned and that had been a black male who was being accosted physically on his job at his place of employment by a white man, with the subsequent, giving of those hands, right? The most that would have been said about this was, damn, that nigga gave him that smoke. That's my dog. That's how the white motherfucker should get it each and every time. But that would have been the end of it, regardless of whether she stood there and watched it occur, whether she went up and grabbed the brother to stop him from swinging on the white dude, or whether she grabbed the white dude, or whatever the case may be. Regardless of her interaction or lack of interaction, absence of interaction in the exchange, there would have been no way that she would have been tied into it. These men are being castigated for not being available on demand to defend, even at possibly the risk of their livelihood and their lives, the life of this black woman whose interaction with them we don't know anything about. Essentially, black people across social media are baying for the blood of these weak ass black men who couldn't even be asked to get up and fight for a sister who obviously needed their assistance. This at first struck me as strange, right? I've told y'all before, I'm handicapped in a lot of circumstances because I have this deep-seated need for shit to make sense. And this does not make sense to me, right? They were all employees at the same place. One employee was attacked by a customer. From what I saw in the video, there was attempts by them to grab the mail, grab her, pull her from the exchange, right? And she, of course, was heated. She's not responsible for what she's saying and what she's doing at that point. She called him a bunch of motherfuckers and this, that, and the third. I ain't holding that against her. Right? I'm not going to say she was out of pocket for cussing this motherfucker out for accosting her. Right? I'm not going to say she was acting like a savage. But she was heated. Okay? So how did a story of prototypical white pale male entitlement to black attention, time, bodies, and so on turn into another motherfucking example of bashing black men? How? And then it hit me. Then I got it. You see, it was because when it comes to black males, especially black females, in a real sense, every black female sees every other black male, regardless of ties of consanguinity or connections or relations or interactions with her, as her man. Yeah, I fucking said it. All of you see all of us as belonging to you, so that you, on demand, have the right to conscript us, regardless of our circumstances, regardless of the fact I'm just there trying to get my bread. I don't know this bitch. No hate, right? I'm just thinking like a normal human being would. Wow, what kind of bullshit is this? I'm certain that they weren't expecting this pale man to attack her no more than she was expecting to be attacked. But where the fuck is the hue and cry for an environment where all of these people have to go and be unsafe? Nobody's talking about that. Oh, here and there you might find somebody mention the fact that McDonald's might actually be culpable and liable for an environment where their employees can be manhandled by the fucking customers. I'm not saying it should have happened to the sister. It should not happen to anyone. Where's the hue and cry? Where's the banging on the drum by black people to demand that everybody involved sue McDonald's? To make those lousy motherfuckers hold the L for not having enough care and wherewithal to protect their employees. You're not hearing that. No, what you're hearing across all different types of media, I've seen it on Facebook, I've seen it on motherfucking Twitter, I've seen it on YouTube, is this is yet another fucking opportunity, another chance to shit on the black man. Not by white people, by the way, family. That's the part that's the most fucked up part about it. This ain't really white people, pale people out there putting us on blast like this. This is black people putting the other black people on blast. Publicly. Shaming them. Maligning their character and their names. Simply because they didn't choose on a job where they may be lucky to be making minimum motherfucking wage to risk the possibility of injury, which means they may not be able to work again. And by the way, let's talk about the fact that let's say that shit went completely left. Thank goodness it did not. But let's say it went completely left and that poor sister was injured. She would be able to get assistance and help and so on and so forth if she was unable to get out there and work for remuneration. How much help would be out there for those black men if they were injured in that interaction? I bet you we'd hear crickets. So they're supposed to, for a female that they ain't fucking, that they ain't related to, that they may just be fellow employees of in a situation that became emergent because, by the way, for as much as all of you think you're Billy Badasses talking on social media about how had that been me, he would have caught this smoke. A lot of you are not trained to be able to deal with conflict. Having scraps in your neighborhood does not prepare your mind for combat. Soldiers actually go through boot camp and advanced instructional training just to learn how to operate on a battlefield, how to be able to suppress their natural inclinations to run, hide, shit themselves, etc., so that they can be effective at accomplishing the mission. You motherfuckers ain't soldiers. You're not a militia or paramilitary. The average one of you walking down the street, male or female, if somebody came out of nowhere and sneak stuck you and just grabbed you, for an instant, you wouldn't know what the fuck to do. Your first reaction most likely would be to freeze. I'm actually impressed that the sister had the wherewithal, the means to be able to immediately start throwing hands. Because truth be told, the average one of you would be too scared in that initial point to even do that. You'd be trying to break camp. But y'all all keyboard warrior. It's disgusting. But once I realized that in a real sense, not like I'm not making this up, I'm not being hyperbolic, in a true sense, in a de facto sense, every black male that exists is considered partially the property of every black woman. All the shit fell into place. It all made sense to me. All this rancor, all this disrespect of these brothers that was there in this fucked up interaction. All of it made sense. Because this mentality, this idea explains why there's such an outcry when a black woman is in danger and is not immediately defended by any black male bystander. If I'm walking down the street and a black woman is standing by her car and some dude comes up to her, or some female or somebody comes up to her and starts to accost her, the social and cultural mores that we've all currently been acculturated with demands my response. I don't have the option of choosing another method unless I want to be an outcast, unless I want to be a pariah. Because in a real sense, regardless if she knows me or not, regardless of whether I've had any type of interaction with her or not, we somehow can find a way to demand that black men be bound by blackness when it comes to her. We can't unify for shit otherwise. But all of a sudden our blackness becomes paramount, of key importance, when it comes to demanding and conscripting the labor, the minds, and the lives of black men. This also explains the rancor that a lot of brothers out there get from black women when they date interracially. Yeah, I said it. See, never mind the fact that when you were single and this bitch had an opportunity to come talk to you, to get to know you, to interact with you, she wasn't interested. Maybe you one of those black geeks like myself, right? You talk proper for the most part, right? I can be hood, but I also speak perfectly good English, right? I'm not out there wilding the fuck out. I like gaming and tech and computer shit, right? I'm a nerd. I'm a geek. My favorite motherfucking show is The Expanse. I don't really like Empire or Power or any of that shit. Sorry, just ain't my cup of tea. Not knocking you if you like it. Right? I listen to metal music. One of my secret pleasures is Byzantine chant. I'm not even religious, and I listen to chants in Greek. I'm a fucking geek. The average black woman will meet me, have an interaction with me or two, and get any sense of my proclivities. And for the most part, she'll just go the other way. This isn't meaning that I hate her for it. She has the right to choose what she likes. But she had no interest in me whatsoever. But let me marry Juanita. Or let me marry Ming. Or let me marry Becky. Now all of a sudden, this bitch is in her feelings. Now, she never had no interest in me whatsoever. None. She never gave a fuck about... She didn't care whether I was living or dying. until she couldn't have demand on my life, until she couldn't have claim on me, ownership on me. Then she got a problem with it. Because, family, I would argue that any black man who might decide to protect his livelihood over some sister that he's not related to, he ain't fucking, he ain't connected to, hardly knows from a can of paint, I would argue that he is a runaway slave. This mentality, as it exists amongst our people, is essentially the equivalent of slavery for black men. It's slavery by another name. Just like the slave master had the right, not just the slave master, but any white person had the right to demand our labor, to demand our action, to compel us. Right? Black women and the greater society at large, through social shaming tactics and shaming language and disrespect and social pressure, have demanded that we also are available for them to conscript. That our lives are not our own. I was looking for this little beauty. And that's a fucking problem. That's a fucking problem. You didn't give a fuck about me when I was available to you, right? As long as I'm on demand as a black man, I'm free to wander. I'm free to roam. I can go where I want, when I want, how I want. As long as I'm on demand. As long as a black woman can turn and say, brother, I need you. And I come running, we all good. But if I decide that in a situation I know nothing about, that I didn't create, that I have no desire to be a part of, that I don't know this bitch. It's fucked up. I ain't gonna let her get done up too bad, but I'm not jumping in there and this white motherfucker pull out a gun on me and kill me. That I'm a coward. That I'm an outcast, a black sheep, a social pariah, a stain on the bane of black male masculinity in existence. This is bullshit. This whole idea of controlling and owning black men is irrational as fuck. Because yes, while it could be argued that I as a black male should defend members of my family, right? People that I have actual legitimate ties other than blackness with. We could argue. And I would actually even agree with you. I might smack my sister around. You better not touch my sister. I will fuck you up. Me and my mama could have words publicly. I wouldn't do that, but we could. You say anything ill to my mom, I'm fucking you up. Off top. There's not even a question. But where in the hell is it written that I'm supposed to do that for just any random chick out there? This chick, man, just came from a motherfucking situation where she just had a black man locked up in jail. She may have just had this dude put in jail. She just came from the courthouse. I'm sorry, but I don't want to defend no bitch that's having black men locked the fuck up. Fuck that bitch. But see, I'm not supposed to ask who you in that situation, right? I'm not supposed to demand that you establish why the fuck I should be risking my ass, my everything, my whole life for you, with nothing more than the tie of blackness between us. Because isn't it interesting how we, especially on the pro-black side of the house, right? Because most of them are the ones that's banging on this drum of these weak-ass niggas who didn't do shit to defend this black queen. Oh, you can best believe they're banging on that drum right now as we speak. Isn't it funny how we can issue a call for unity when it comes to uplifting, defending, protecting, supporting the black female. And I don't give a fuck if female is offensive to you, because I can say black male and that's not offensive to you. I've been told that black women don't like to be called females. Well, you know what? Fuck you. Just like I'm male, you're female. Me Tarzan, you Jane. A thing is what the fuck it is. We can organize, act, risk life, limb, loss of property, loss of name, loss of everything for blackness, for black women and children. Now, I would argue that we all should defend children. I don't have no reason behind that. It's just a feeling I got. I don't like to see nobody hurting no black kids. I don't like to see anybody hurting kids. Fuck that. Even if they're little colonizers. I don't want to see a little colonizer hurt. You can call me whatever the fuck you want to call me. I don't think it's cool to be going around hurting kids of any stripe. So we can have that debate. I won't be no more wrong or right than you, but at least we can have the discussion. But I got a real fucking problem that we can somehow find a means to unite around blackness only. It doesn't matter if she's gay or straight. It don't matter if she's Christian or atheist. It don't matter if the bitch Republican or Democrat. It don't matter any of that shit. She black and I'm black. So I'm supposed to risk life and limb for her. But I don't have the right to demand the same thing from her within tables are turned. I don't have the right to demand respect from her, common human decency from her, interest, care, concern from her. I'm sorry, but I find that a little bit motherfucking weird, don't you? How we have one portion of our ethnic group, our distinct lineage, being considered basically sacred cows, above reproach, above contradiction, above critique, above accountability, above responsibility, above requirement. And then the other portion of that group being held to all of those things plus. To demand the utility of every black male, regardless of their connection, their interaction, their knowledge, or their willingness, is tantamount to claiming ownership of black males. And that's a fact that you motherfuckers that are spending all this time out here right now castigating these young black men who happen to have been co-workers of this sister. That's what you're really saying. And I wish that you motherfuckers weren't so cowardly that you wouldn't just come out and just say that. That black men belong to everybody. Black women are free to do whatever the fuck they want. Just come out and say it. Stop being fucking cowards and trying to hide behind your shaming language. Trying to hide behind your social pressure. Trying to hide behind your culturation. Just come out and say that that's what you really think. That black men belong to everybody. So the moment you were born with a penis and 2 testicles, your life don't belong to you. You have no freedom, no say, no rights that any black woman or anybody else for that matter is bound to respect. Shades of Dred Scott, anybody? Just come out and admit, claim it in the name of Jesus that you have control, ownership of black men. And that's how you like it. That's how you want it. Just tell the truth and shame the devils. Brothers, I want you to understand me and understand me clearly. I, a black man, just like you, understand your acculturation. I understand that we've been raised that when our sisters is in danger, that we defend them. I understand that. But brother, let's have a conversation for a few minutes, shall we? That was all right. That was okay when it was your baby sister, or maybe your baby cousin, right? Or your girl cousins, or, you know, your aunts, your mother, right? Yeah, I would argue that you should definitely defend the women that constitute your immediate and extended family. Okay? Right? I'm with you. Somebody fuck with the women that you have ties with, that you have actual connections with other than blackness. Feel free to give them motherfuckers that smoke. I would never gainsay you. I would never think that you were anything other than what you would be in that moment, and that would be a hero. All right? But simply because we use the term sister to describe black women who are not related to us does not mean that how we would treat or what we would do for our actual real blood sister bleeds over to them. That doesn't automatically mean that. Now, if you so choose to engage, brother, understand that you do have a choice. Fuck what everybody's talking about, all right? Because you are ordered by pretty much everybody in this country to do what the fuck they want you to do. When you're in school, you're ordered to sit your black ass down and shut up and let Becky teach your ass. You can't be this exuberant little black boy who wants to touch everything, smell everything, taste everything, experience everything, and thus learn everything. Nope. Your natural curiosity, your boundless energy, and all that shit is squelched from word say go to make sure that your utility, that you are a tool for the use of anybody who wants to use you. I know that. That was me. That is me. I went through the same acculturation as you. I was told by my mama that if somebody fuck with my sister, beat their ass. Because if I didn't beat their ass, she was going to beat mine. I get it. Right? I understand right now, brother, the shame that you're feeling because something about this situation, about the fact that these brothers is being castigated, eats at you. But your acculturation is so strong that you can't open your mouth to say, wait a minute. These black men were at work and she was at work. This was a circumstance, a situation that neither of them expected. And yet the responsibility, the onus of preventing circumstances like this happening isn't on the employer, but it's on these brothers here who don't control shit. They don't even control how long it takes to make one of them fucking hamburgers. They got timers on that shit. When the bell ring, they lift the damn grill and put the burger into the motherfucking holding thing. They don't even have time. They don't even have control over what it is that they actually do. But they're supposed to be on demand for everybody. Their lives are not their own. Brother, I'm telling you, you've been sold a bill of motherfucking goods. That's a fact. I'm sorry. I'm sorry if you think I ain't shit. I'm sorry, sisters, if you think that I'm the lowest piece of filth on the planet Earth. I've been called worse by better people. It don't fuck with me in the least what you think about me. I'm telling you as a black man, one who actually wants to unify with you around your blackness, but wants it to be mutual, that if I don't have a tie to you in some way, shape, or fashion, you have no right to expect or demand any motherfucking thing from me. Especially using the one thing I had no control over and cannot change to demand that, to compel that. You're black and I'm black. You don't get to do that. You don't get to demand my blackness when it's convenient for you. But when I need you to organize with me around our blackness, can't find you. You too busy code switching and trying to get the bag. Sorry. I'm not going to automatically feel obligated to throw my life away for just some random ass scamp walking down the street. Sorry, it just ain't gonna happen. And before you get all in your motherfucking feelings about it, right? Before you start feeling some kind of way about the fact that if I have anything to say about it, no other brothers will be doing it either. Understand this. In this particular respect, your motherfucking opinion about it don't even matter. Are you willing to fight, bleed, and die for me? Are you willing to put yourself in harm's way? Just on the strength of blackness. On the strength, my nigga, are you, black sister, willing to do everything that I'm willing to do? If not, shut the fuck up. I don't want to hear it. I'm sorry if that offends you. I'm sorry that if that puts you in a place of butthurtery and broken feelings. But unless you're actually willing to do what it is that you demand that I do, your opinion doesn't fucking count. It's immaterial. It doesn't matter for shit. Your shame and language don't work on me. This is wrong, family. This is wrong. These people, all of them, both the sisters and the brothers there on that scene, were violated. Both of them. They were both violated by this entitled ass, punk ass, pale customer who came into their place of employment where they should have some reasonable degree of expectation of personal safety. And they violated that. He violated that. There's only one motherfucker that is wrong in this whole interaction. Why ain't y'all pointing the motherfucking finger at him? Sure, I heard he's been arrested. Good for him. I hope they lock that motherfucker up and throw away the key. That sister wasn't wrong. Especially not as cold as she was throwing them damn hands. I'm telling you, family, if you ain't seen that video, that white motherfucker held an L that was classic. She was on some old float like a butterfly, sting like a bee shit. Hats off to that sister and her blessed hands. She cold with it. But the only person that was wrong, the only violator in that circumstance was that pale dude. Sister wasn't wrong for defending herself. And them brothers wasn't wrong for defending themselves. They didn't know if that white man had a gun. They didn't know. So what was they supposed to do? Let's say he had a gun. Let's talk about that. Let's say he had a gun. You know, pale people are scary as fuck these days. So they walk around packing because they some pussies. So now, instead of one body, which would already be tragedy enough, by the way, I wouldn't want to see nothing bad happen to the sister like that. But now, instead of one body, there's 3 or 4 or 5. Really? All because of some old bullshit rule that puts those brothers' bodies, their lives, their minds, their mentalities, their thoughts under conscription to any black woman who demands it. Not today. Not your boy. Now, how about this? Because again, I'm always about giving solutions. And I hope that I haven't gone too far off the reservation. Yes, I am very passionate and heated about this because I do feel with all of the evidence that I've been able to see that there is a concerted effort to erase the black man. And I will not go quietly into the night. I will rage against the dying of mine and my brother's light. So yeah, I feel pretty fucking strongly about the attempts to disrespect, to dehumanize these men who were just as much victims in this situation as the sister was. I'm not having it. I'm a nobody. So feel free to discount my voice. This is Black Outcast Media. We expect it over here. But you ain't gonna shut me up. I really wish if I had a magic wand that I could wave, right? If I was on some Harry Potter shit, you know, I could be like Wingardium Leviosa, and I could cast a spell that make motherfuckers tell the truth. Brothers, you would be in revolt by tomorrow morning. If there was a wand that I could wave, or people got infected with a truth virus, where they had to tell the truth about how they see us, how they feel about us, what they really think about us, brothers, you would be in revolt tomorrow. Because the contempt that our people as a whole have for you is on full display. And the shame of it is that they're constantly working to acculturate, propagandize, so that you don't see it. It ain't just the pale people. What we get under racism, white supremacy, whiteism is bad enough. But it ain't just them. Everybody's got their hand in the bag. Everybody has an incentive. Everybody is incentivized, remunerated, benefited from the erasure of your black life from the public sphere. I ain't going for it. I ain't going for it. I am not your property. My name is Mark Black. I belong to those who belong to me. I would love it if we had ties together, sister of mine. Reach out to your brother. Get to know me. Shoot me an email. Right? Brother, my black brother, my esteemed black brothers and sisters, get to know me. And you will find I have no problem bleeding, dying for you. None at all. But if the only tie that we have is our blackness, and the only time you feel free to remind me of that fact is when you in some fuck shit, good luck to you. I hope you make it. Maybe you'll feel like you want to connect with me after you make it through whatever the fuck it is you're going through. But don't expect me to put on my motherfucking cape and run and save you. I don't know you like that. I don't owe you like that. Because you wouldn't do it for me. If it was a black man that was getting yanked across the counter like that, we would expect him to hold his own. It wouldn't matter if he was tiny, light in the ass, a Bill 5 with water in his shoes, soaking wet. It wouldn't matter. If he took an L, fuck that nigga. He took an L. And y'all know I'm telling the truth. If he got snatched up, this would not even be a news story. The video would get laughed at, especially if he gave that white man the work like the sister did. We'd be laughing about the video. But nobody would be outraged by the fact that he had been accosted, that his life is in danger. But we're completely over the moon, feeling some kind of way about a sister who held her own, right? I'm giving her props where props is due. She threw them hands. Bad. Shit. I'll put it like this. I wouldn't fuck with her. That white motherfucker was stupid as hell. After seeing them hands, I bet you that sister is the safest sister in the environment in which she lived. Because she threw some classic blows. On some real shit. But there were multiple victims there and only one victimizer. Just like for blackness itself, there is a multitude of victims of blackness, of the blackness that's laid upon us. But there's only one victimizer. How about we start organizing around blackness to fight our collective victimizer? You know, that entitled ass pale bastard that reached across the counter and his ethnic compatriots. That liberal ass entitled ass Becky who feels like she has a right to come in and invade your spaces and touch your person and interact with you in ways that you would never find appropriate from any black person. Right? How about we start like calling out our blackness and organizing together when that shit happens for each other? How about we be on demand for each other? until I have just as much right to demand humanity, care, concern, respect, human decency from black women as they demand from me. You ain't connected to me. I ain't connected to you. You want to be strong and independent and not need no man. And bitch, show me how strong and independent you are. Go ahead. The only time you want to demand a connection with me is when you done got yourself in a trick bag or put yourself into some fuck shit or some random ass situation comes out of nowhere. But you rest of the time got no problem telling me I ain't shit and you don't need me. Then show me you don't need me. Show me how strong you are. Get out there and roll pills with the birds. Let me know how that works out for you. Remember, does it work? Is that working for you? If so, keep sticking with it. If not, maybe you might want to consider how we operating, how we trying to put collective ownership on the bodies of our brothers, how we're trying to work overtime to make sure that at the end of the day, their lives are erased. How we're using shaming and the maligning of their characters and their names in the public sphere to ensure that even if they survive the encounter, they're socially dead. Do you realize, family, that that video, now that it has gone viral, now that it has become national news, every black male face in that video is now public property? Meaning that while you sitting here on your moral high horse, riding the fuck out that motherfucker, shitting all over the name of these black men, you've just basically thrown away yet another group of brothers that didn't do nothing but be black, male, and breathing. You just created 2 more black outcasts. 2 more pariahs. Good job, black people. We need unity like a motherfucking fish need water. And y'all constantly working overtime to make sure you atomize as many of us as possible. Great job. You motherfuckers do a bang up job. I'm sick of it. I will not be erased. I will not let them be erased. They didn't do shit wrong. Except have the misfortune to work in an environment where they can't even be assured of their own personal fucking safety. Brothers, I don't know if you'll ever watch my video. I hope you do. I hope somebody it gets mad enough or outraged enough or like this enough to share it with you. But let me speak to you directly, you brothers that was there when this happened. I understand y'all ain't trained soldiers. Y'all not police officers, right? Y'all not paramilitary or militia or any of that. Right? How you reacted, brother, is how you reacted, and you have every right to have reacted the way you did. I know that you were trained on your job, that in circumstances where there might be an altercation, to look out for the safety of your teammates as well as the customer, because I've worked at McDonald's before. And yes, they tell you if you're able to extricate everybody from the situation like y'all tried to do, and de-escalate the situation like y'all tried to do by your use of respectful terms for this motherfucker that was acting out of pocket. I saw the video and saw you say to him, sir. That was your training. That was what you were taught to do. You did your motherfucking job. You don't owe nobody shit else. You don't let these motherfuckers tell you that your life belongs to them. You out there working to try to make it your own way. For a group of people that wouldn't even piss on your ass if you was on fire to put you out, truth be told. So brother, do you. You all right. You didn't fuck up. You ain't wrong. You might have been trying to mac to the girl. You may have fucked with her once or twice. Y'all may have ate lunch together. I don't know what your interaction with her is, and I don't care. She don't have a call on demand for your black life. And you need to know that. And you need to hear it from me, because ain't nobody else gonna fucking tell you. If you riding with me, if you with me, if you are my woman, or my women, you have the right to expect that I will defend your life. And you ain't got to worry about it. I don't hesitate. I don't hesitate. But if I don't know you from a can of motherfucking paint, I don't know shit about you, ain't had no ties to you other than the fact that we black, you don't have no motherfucking call on my life automatically, carte blanche. You don't have no motherfucking just, oh, nigga, I need you. That's not how this shit works. Especially since I can't count on the same thing from you. Shit, motherfuckers out here talking about 50-50 and you know, if I gotta have a black man, I can be miserable by myself. But then be miserable by your goddamn self. Stop calling on me and mine. Stop trying to make brothers that don't have no connection to you, no tie to you whatsoever, be your property for as long as you need him. And then you can feel free to discard him at the end of the interaction. Or did you think that short of maybe a brief burst of gratitude, which she was so heated at the moment, I don't think the sister would have even realized that these brothers was jumping up there to try to defend her, even if they was, right? But except for a brief burst of gratitude, she wouldn't owe them shit. Wouldn't nobody be saying to those brothers, man, good job on y'all, man. Y'all brothers need something. Brother, that was dope what you did. You got a man. I want a man who will protect me. You ain't gonna see no shit like that. Because you don't reward people for shit that they're expected to do. You know, like when your kid goes in the room and they clean up the room and pick up their toys and shit, and they come out and tell you, say, Mama, Daddy, I cleaned up my room. You look at them and say, okay, good. You ain't offering them, you know, heaping packs of Oreo cookies and milk. Why? Because they supposed to clean their motherfucking room. You don't reward somebody for doing some shit they supposed to be doing. And that's why black men don't get called heroes, even though we commit acts of heroism every fucking day. We don't get called heroes, unlike other ethnicities, right? White man goes and does something for anybody of any other ethnicity. John Q. Public, he's the hero of the day. Black man does it, don't nobody say shit. Why? Because a white man has the option to not do that shit. He has the option to not jump in there and be a fucking hero. He has the option to turn his head and go, that's fucked up. Juan, he has the option to be like, wow, lo siento mucho, chico. Right? Han, he don't have to jump in there and be involved in shit. The only motherfucker who has to be involved, who has to jump in there, who gets no respect because it is what he's supposed to be doing, is the black man. And brothers, y'all need to think about that shit before y'all start letting these motherfuckers shame you. You need to think about that shit. You need to think real fucking hard about that fact that every other male of every other ethnicity, regardless of the circumstance, can be a hero except you. And it's not because you don't commit acts of heroism. It is not because you don't step your ass out there and get into the fray. My sister had a best friend that she fucked with. By the way, rest in peace, Nita. Shout out to you, sister. I love you. I come over their house one day. I used to carry a strap back in them days, and I carried illegally. Right? I didn't have no CPAO or CWP or CCW. I didn't have none of that. So I'm strapped up playing prison games, basically, because, well, shit, it was like that. That's my neighborhood. I know what the fuck it's like. So I'm carrying my steel. I get out my motherfucking van and start walking to the house. My sister, Anita, is standing out there with 3 dudes. Now, because I parked a distance away from the house, I didn't really understand what was going on. But as I started walking closer, I realized that words were being exchanged back and forth. Now, of course, Nita's a female, so her voice is more higher pitch. I can hear it, right? Brothers is talking low, so I can't really hear them. But I know from what she's saying, words are being exchanged. So then she looks up the block and she sees me. She says, yeah, and my big brother. Now, mind you, Nita is my sister's friend. I have some esteem for her, right? I love the sister. As a matter of fact, she was dope. But we was just friends. I'm not her brother. I'm not related to her really like that. We're not family. We just peoples. But she starts talking, saying, yeah, and my big brother come up here and lay all you bitch ass niggas down. I don't know what the fuck is going on for anything. I don't have a clue as to what's happening. All I know is that shit now is getting heated. But she threw me into it. Now my acculturation is kicked in. Now, at this moment, I don't even understand that I have a choice to be like, fuck is you talking about, bitch? I don't know you like that. So I pull up my shirt and show up my strap. And I ask these brothers, niggas, if you want a problem, there could be a problem. How y'all want it? I'm out here playing prison games already carrying a strap. I don't know what the fuck is going on. I don't know what the interaction was between them prior to me showing up. I don't know nothing about these brothers. And I know enough about Nita and my sister to know that it's not impossible that they could have said or done some ill shit to set these brothers off. Truth be told. Right? Because we don't like to acknowledge that our sisters, our beloved sisters, can act like fucking savages. I don't know shit. But now I'm drawing down on these dudes that I don't know nothing about for a situation I don't know nothing about. As fucked up as that was, it wasn't until today, at nearly 46 years old, that I realized that what was more fucked up was that there was no hesitation in Nita to put my life on the line. She knew we wasn't related. She knew we was cool, but we wasn't family. She knew that. And it meant nothing. At that moment, she had no hesitation, no wavering, no thought in her mind that said that she did not have the right to claim not only my life, but the life of those black men that I would have had to engage with in violence for her defense. When you think about how fucked up that is and you figure it out, then you'll understand the truth of everything I said during this broadcast. It will all make sense to you when you understand, black man, that truth be told, you are considered the property of everybody in Fortress America, every ethnicity, every group, including the women of your own distinct lineage, your own ethnic group. When you understand that you were born to be a tool, a utility, that your life has literally no value if you have no service, no utility, no benefit to everybody. Once you understand that, I won't have to beg you to unify with me. I won't have to cajole you to come work with your man, to join us over here with the angry black sheep. I won't have to beg you. You'll come running. I hope I was able to do this topic some justice. I hope that I was able to give somebody who will watch this, either having watched it live or will watch it later, I hope I've given you something to think about. But more importantly, I hope that this broadcast is a catalyst for a change in our culture that is killing black men every fucking day. How many graves do we have filled with brothers who were told, who were conscripted, who were ordered to lay down their lives for people who don't even give a fuck about them? How many graves? Nuh-uh. Not today. Not no more. Here and no further. Those brothers wasn't wrong. And for all you punk motherfuckers out there that think they were, shame on you. You want to shame me? Shame on you. Those brothers were not her property to demand service from. Their lives are their own, not hers. If she wants a connection, if she wants a call on their utility, on their service, then let her be of service to them. Black woman, if you want to be able to call on my life on demand, then I should be able to call on your life on demand. I should be able to demand your fucking respect. I should be able to demand your esteem. I should be able to demand your care and concern. I should be able to demand your empathy. I should be able to demand your compassion. If you can compel me, then I should be able to compel you. Because if that's not the case, then fuck you and your unjust bullshit. I ain't riding. I ain't riding. And anybody that I can influence to not ride shouldn't ride with you either. And so on that, I want to wish all of you a great motherfucking Thursday. Tomorrow I expect another broadcast from your man. And understand this, I wouldn't be saying what I'm saying if I didn't love you, black people. Everything in me comes from a place of love for my people. Sisters, I love you. I want you to love me just like I love you. Brothers, I love you. I want you to love yourselves just like I love you, because nobody gives a fuck about you. But I do. Until the next time, family, love, peace, prosperity, and power. Real power to our people.